Ah, damn it, I was visible. No matter. I don't think we spoiled anything yet, have we? I'll just have to fix up the rotation here. Probably after the stream. So, hopefully we won't have too much scuff tonight because I'd like to present to you all a little, something different. Good evening, class, and welcome back. I'm not sure if you've noticed anything different, but I have an updated 2.0 model. There's a couple of extra little things that should rotate around that you might not have seen before. Most importantly, though, if you take a good look at my glasses, I no longer have quite... Oh, wait. A little bit off the screen there. I no longer have quite the same glare issues I did before. Previously, the glare on my glasses would tend to obscure my eyes a little bit, but that's not the case. It's been made a lot more subtle, and you might even notice that there's a reflection from the glare in my monitor on the glasses. So, hope I should be a lot more presentable to you all from all the streams here on out. Let me zoom myself back out, and we will begin here in a moment. I need to make sure I had the right save loaded. Indeed, we'll let that loading screen pass. So, how's everyone's weekend? And to give it a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, it looks like we may formally begin. Come on. Give me back my game. So, there were a lot of things I had to test before I actually started the stream. I didn't get everything I wanted necessarily prepared. There we go. Oh, why are you offset? Welcome to the slightly scuffed Xander 2.0 reveal.
Commander.
Now, we have a chance to formally begin, so... the rotation. Hold on. I'm far too downward on the screen. One thing that did help me with controlling my previous model was the fact that I did lock the rotation and the movement quite a bit. So previously I wasn't really allowed to move around that much. Let me... There. That should be better. Now! It seems as if nothing is on fire, so we will return. Therefore, hello, Decursion, Ajoy, Kayla, Loser. And I do believe that is everyone. Now, let us get our bearings really quick. We have all of our equipment recently repaired and recharged, so now we're off to go in whatever direction we please. I'll take a good look. What was our last quest? Oh yeah! We would be doing more Fighters Guild things, but I'd like to get a bit of information on what happened to that fellow who sold us a house and then bolted. Morning, Hera. Help me with the pronunciation on that. Is it Heros or Herus? I do try to make sure I can get all of my students' names correctly. As a bit of a relaxing start to this one, I think we'll go ahead and cruise to the Imperial City manually. After all, it's not a very far travel for us. It's a habit I picked up in Skyrim and one that, well, you're sort of obligated to do in Morrowind as well. If you take the time to indulge yourself in the environment, you'll find out that the world is a lot bigger than you might have initially anticipated. And there's so many landmarks you'd get lost. Session, ETG. We're still finding imps. I thought we were like level 10. Level 9, so we still have a few more. You know, I did pick up the Crusader set as it's something you can reliably use for basically the rest of the game, but who knows? We might find something better and more appropriate. After all, if we are a scientist, perhaps it would be more appropriate for us to be adorned in mage attire, as a mage robe would be the closest proxy for us to have compared to a lab coat. Are there white robes in the vanilla game? I know there's, like white outfits, but I don't think there's any white mage robes. So, Decursion, something about Queen in the Sea, you say? What build are we playing? Officially, I did call myself a quote-unquote science boy, but is mostly a battle mage on slightly the lighter end. Funny enough, I haven't been doing nearly as much sneaking as I should have. But lots of swords, lots of lightning bolts, and yeah, perhaps we should focus more on our offensive magic. It might be a good enough time to buy better spells as well. Welcome, James. And a good evening to you. For those of our classmates who did show up, recently, I have done the formal introduction tonight. On Friday, we happen to have the reveal of the Xander palette for Gold Loose and Guilty Gear. But tonight, funny enough, by sheer coincidence, my art dad has actually given me a slight model update. You might notice some subtle differences in my movement and rotation. This game takes place in the province of Cyrodiil, which is a fictional landscape, part of the Elder Scrolls series. Those of you who have played Elder Scrolls games might recognize Skyrim, which is to the north of this province. This is the 4th game in the series. Those of you who are familiar with Skyrim will know that it is the 5th game. Over here to the east should be Morrowind, the 3rd. Off to the west is... there's Hammerfell. Ah, High Rock is further away. So over in this direction is actually where the 2nd game took place. Yes, this is an entirely fictional landscape. It is not based off of any real-life location. I've been thinking about picking up Skyrim lately. Might need a little bit more technology to implement that, however.
Good to see you. What can I do for you?
What's going on with you? A pleasant smile, if a bit of a weird face.
I heard that some cult called the Mythic Dawn is behind the Emperor's assassination.
Hammerfell would be interesting for the 6th place. I'd certainly be interested in seeing a game that takes place mostly in desert. One of the reasons that people remember Morrowind so fondly is because of its terrain being so alien. It was mostly volcanoes and swamps, with a few fields and islands here and there. Oblivion's landscape, they basically made as much of a generic fantasy place as they could, so people don't really remember the landscape too fondly. Skyrim, however, everyone does remember, as it's hard to forget an entire fantasy game built around pseudo-Nordic culture. Having all the snow there definitely leads to a memorable landscape as well. Of course I've watched Meet the Spy Decursion. TF2 is one of my all-time favorites. I've even considered streaming it, but I basically haven't played the game regularly in about, 5 years or so. I'd be far out of practice.
Hail, good citizen.
Half-Life 2 is the one I hear the best opinions about, or the best ratings of, in general. Wasn't Hunt Down the Freeman the, really, really botched indie fan game? Half-Life 1 actually has a lot more cool things to offer, but allegedly, Half-Life 2 is such a legendary game that it stands on its own. So where we last left off, some fellow sold us a haunted house. And we gotta talk to him about that.
I'm surprised to see you all the way out here in the Imperial City.
I'm all over.
So, you think I'm responsible? I suppose you're right, as the manor used to belong to my grandfather, Lorgren Benaris. I knew there was a curse on that place, which is why I sold it to you so cheap. I suppose I should have warned you, but I had to get out of Anvil. My family said I could move here to the Imperial City once all our loose ends were tied down. The manor was one of those loose ends. I fear my own greed got the better of my judgment. I hope you weren't hurt badly in that horrible place. I suppose I assumed you'd be able to lift the curse and be done with it.
Yeah, one thing. I don't know how to lift this curse of yours.
Lorgren Benerus was a strange old man, always dabbling and experimenting with magic. He was mostly harmless, until the fateful day he came across a tome bearing the evil magic of necromancy. He became obsessed and decided that by using necromancy, he could prolong his own life. The dark arts contained in the tome called for him to dig up the recently deceased in the nearby crypts under the cathedral. When it was discovered that he did this, the Mages Guild called for a quick meeting to decide what to do. It only took minutes to decide. Led by a young upstart named Carahil, the Mages Guild stormed Benerus Manor and slew Lorgren. However, amid the chaos, his body vanished. Because of this, the people of Anvil concluded the manor must be cursed. You are the first person to set foot inside in a long time.
So you might have noticed my model wiggling around quite a bit there. I have just loaded in this model, so I haven't had time to tweak a lot of the rotation parameters. So if you see me darting all over the screen or changing sizes, that is the fact that I have not yet put limiters on the rotation and distance and scaling that I could have. Such as, if it loses facial tracking, it should. In some cases, it'll just return me to a neutral expression, but if I go too far in or too far back, you might see me radically moving around a little crazily. Yeah, I definitely have to say Half-Life 2 would be my choice. Which, thank you for the reminder, I'll actually put that on a list of games that we should play at some point. There's a few somewhat legendary games I'm trying to save for when I have a large audience to view them. You know what? I consider it a very realistic goal that perhaps we can reach 1K subscribers this year. After all, our growth will be essentially exponential. How about Spore for 1K? That's an absolute favorite of mine, and definitely fits with a lot of the other aesthetics I may present.
According to the diary entry, it seems that I'm the only one who can open the secret door in the manor. And I can't help feeling slightly guilty selling you the place under these circumstances. I'll meet you in Anvil at the Count's Arms.
Really, we
From
gotta
there,
go all
we'll
the way
try
back.
to lift the curse together.
Yeah, Half-Life Alyx is proof that they're never going to actually release Half-Life 3.
I'll see you in Anvil.
I've heard good things about God of War, and especially now that it's come to PC, that is definitely an option for us. I know that it is a recent AAA console game, so it might be a little bit above what my computer could run, at least alongside, say, streaming. I did also just update my streaming frame rate to 60, which I should be able to do for a lot of our less intensive games, such as Oblivion here. Yeah, Spore is something I've waited on a long time, but essentially, for a lot of sort of campaign-based things, or games that mostly focus around a playthrough, it might be best for me to try to use them once. Do I use a capture card? No, everything is done internally on my PC. If I were using a console, I would. If ever I do any streams off the Switch. I don't think I'm ever actually gonna play a superhero game on PC. Not even Injustice. Which would be on brand as a fighting game, but I'm not sure that it's going to happen. Spore, I imagine I basically do the run once, and stream that, maybe twice. Maybe after a larger audience we could create a new world and make a challenge of trying to visit our old species. Spore is something I would never actually mind playing more than once. Might help with some of the FOMO issues some people could have, too. After all, if you're not here for one legendary stream, you could always catch it again if I ever played through it a second time. I don't know how common that is in streaming culture. I'm still a little new to the whole streaming thing. You know, those are some very good pointers. I'll have to mark down God of War and Half-Life as things to play. God of War probably in the future after I get a lot better technology to upgrade my computer. But Half-Life 1 and 2 would be very fun. Of course, I would have to play them in order. Really, Eugenia? What led you to that assumption? Fighting a McDonald's employee. Certainly a wild incident, but maybe not on Valentine's Day. All those Karens should be home. And welcome to the stream, Eugenia. We are making a relatively quiet and uninterrupted run to Anvil, but it's kind of a long distance. Oblivion was basically made for fast travel, so... Oh, all the NPC Oblivion videos. Ah, isn't that a classic? Yeah, that really is how it feels sometimes. All the surreal emergent interactions you get out of trying to make some relatively unpolished systems to allow people to interact. Now we should be... Funny, he sold us the deed, attempted to leave, and now we just have to go back to where we met him the first time. Video essays I've been watching lately were focused around Elder Scrolls, and I definitely say that...
Greetings to you.
One of Oblivion's biggest flaws is that it was built entirely around fast travel and, like, really. We have a green arrow leading us right here, which means he should be right on top of us. Benaris.
I'm ready as I'll ever
There
be.
he is.
I was half expecting you not to show up. Are you ready to go to the manor?
That would be a funny little way to get some vengeance on him.
Then let's get this over with. I don't relish the thought of spending too long inside of the manor. Follow me.
I imagine he hates ghosts as much as I do. Why'd... Okay, just walk out the back door, I see. ETG, do be careful. Please review the rules, as one of them involves staying on topic, and the other one is not to talk about other VTubers without my mention of them. Or, you know, I will be lenient. If we are talking about VTubers, it is okay to mention others.
Hello there.
Funny enough, I don't watch Hololive anymore. Been almost a year. It's been about 7 months since the last time I watched any of their content. I don't even know the names of the newest generations. Ah, so slow. Well, the good news is, at least he's relatively the same as our walking speed. You ever play those games where you have to play an escort mission where someone moves faster than you're walking but slower than you're running? The asynchronous speeds are worse than just plain being slow. Hey, don't worry about it, ETG. It's very common, and it's not like I'm going to lose much traction in the stream here. That rule is mostly for... It's just part of the standards of the culture. Oh yeah, that's an absolute classic. the rather alluring hip sway from both male and female NPCs. I think they actually shared animations across genders in this game. They don't in Skyrim. Yeah, no worries, ETG. Velwyn and I have arrived in Benaris Manor. I must proceed cautiously to the secret room's entrance and prevent any harm from befalling us, if the curse is to ever be lifted.
Okay, you lead from here. Hopefully we can make it to the basement without too much fighting.
Before we begin, I do believe I have some tools to protect you with. Indeed, we do. So I'll give you a little shield. And now we'll have to fight these guys. You're just gonna stand there in danger, I see. Well, that's certainly an NPC interaction if I've ever seen one. This is going to be a grind. Are you a college student playing in a dorm, or are you a troll 45-year-old playing in your mom's basement, or are you a Bitcoin millionaire playing in a skyscraper penthouse? I am closest to that first answer, but I have already entered the workforce. So I am a young adult who's mostly just streaming in my off period from the working stuff. I do leave it sort of in the description, which might be a little hard for some people to see. So yeah, don't dwell on it too much, ETG. Although I will say that if it involves talking in this channel, it might be best to keep it on topic. But do advertise to me if there's any, say, relevant channels to the content that we might have this on the stream. Say, if there were other Elder Scrolls YouTubers that you might like to talk about. I'm a little lenient on that topic. Really, it's just the case of the usual, VTuber culture kind of thing is... It is streaming, and so it is competitive, essentially. And if you're talking about other channels, then it might be detracting from some of my viewership, but I don't really think that's big enough on this channel for that to be a case. Plus, I am far too intriguing for anyone to ever click off of my streams once they go click on. I do hope to entice you all with some wonderful conversation. Yeah, no, I am as average of a young adult as anyone else. Do have a little bit of savings that I can invest in the streaming thing. Mostly as a hobby, I do not plan on this becoming any sort of a regular job. Coffee talk, indeed. Go ahead, give those fancy runes a little touch, a little talking to. Cutscene. Take a drink. Velwyn successfully opened the door to the secret room, which has stopped the ghost from attacking. He then ran off, leaving me to clean up the mess. It's up to me, and me alone, to investigate what's beyond the mysterious portal. Hey, I'm not done talking. We can't even sprint after him. There's no sprinting in this game. You don't see much Elder Scrolls content these days. You used to watch a channel that showcased Skyrim mods, though you've not checked in with it for a while. I've been watching, what's his name? The Patrician. He has an 8-hour-long video essay about Morrowind and a 12-hour-long video essay about Oblivion. And they're both legendary, encompassing basically all of the quest lines. Yeah, Skyrim modding is absolutely cursed. Ooh, dear. I have a feeling we might need this. Daedric text, I wonder what that says. It's formatted in a way, Blake, that it's expected for you to come back to it or leave it in the background as you watch it. It doesn't involve much visual stuff. And it's set up mostly with a long script for having something play in the background. I've been leaving that play while I've been doing Skyrim. What's your favorite video game channel in general? I'll have to think about that one. Who have I been watching? I mean, The Patrician is the one that I've been watching a lot lately. Yeah, it is kind of like a podcast. It is, don't get me wrong, a video essay, but the visual editing is light. He does actually address in the beginning of said videos that he spent most of his energy focusing on the sound balancing and trying to write the script in a way that you can pay attention without necessarily watching it. That's what I've been doing, is I've been leaving on his video essays in the background while I've been playing Elder Scrolls. Yeah, it is a very, very broad topic. I mean, the aforementioned The Patrician is the one that I've been watching lately. He actually just came out with a video essay for, what's it called? No Man's Sky. And he's done a couple of streams relevant to sort of live discussions while he is video editing. Ah, there we go.
And I desire the chance to atone for my sins. The things I've done to the people of Anvil, the horrible, unspeakable acts I've committed, demand repentance. Garahil was justified. Slaying me was the only way to stop the madness.
Isn't... Hold on.
Fate. No, so I may make my final peace with the Nine. Please rejoin my hand to my body. Only then, when I am complete, will this eternal nightmare end.
After touching the altar, I heard the voice of Logrin Benaris. He said he wished to atone for his past and make peace with the Nine. With the Nines! Look at that. Got a typo. Went past quality control. All he wished was to be whole again. This must be the way to lift the curse from Benaris Manor. I should touch his skeleton while I carry the bony hand, and put an end to this madness. How much do you want to bet he's lying? Liches usually lie. The bony hand was left upstairs, I believe. See you another time, Eugenio. How did I settle on this voice? I looked at sort of stereotypes of similar intellectual or snarky characters, and I attempted to emulate roughly an average of most other voices that are similar. Someone said I sound like, what was his name? Was it L or was it Light from Death Note? I just wanted to go for something relatively gentle, but with a little bit of snark on the side of it. Generally, it's just an average of performances of similar characters. You know, I could have done the full-blown, like, super nasally Poindexter sort of nonsense, but I wanted to sound a little bit soothing as well. Admittedly, you watched Death Note subbed. I haven't watched Death Note subbed or dubbed, so I don't know. No Man's Sky is indeed the biggest lie, but I actually have a very positive opinion of the developers. When it came out to such disaster, they have actually spent basically the previous 5 years working on their redemption arc. I actually have a positive opinion of Hello Games, as they have admitted their mistake and made amends to correct it. Although, yeah, definitely it's gotten worse recently.
Easy mortal man is to manipulate. You've assisted me in completing the very thing Carol sought to prevent all those years ago. My ascension to immortality. Last time I clashed with mortals, I underestimated their power. I shall not repeat that mistake twice.
I'm sorry.
Live again.
Huh, one of the few actual unique bits of voice acting here. Unfortunately for you, you're dealing with the Divine Crusader. Oh wow. That is a very strong reflect spell he has. Oh wait, that's a summon zombie. We don't really care about attacking the summons. We might just have to use some of our own tools against him. We'll have to activate all the buffs that we have. I do believe that is all for the offensive effects we can have. Or buffing effects. Now we just need to basically slash through him, which you can see didn't take us very long at all. Completing the skeleton was a ruse and Logrin rose from the dead. I had no choice but to destroy him. With his destruction, the curse of Benerus Manor was lifted. I should return to the Count's arms and speak to Velwyn. Ah, only bone meal. Did he drop his staff, though? Indeed. Ooh. Not a bad effect. Although it has far too few uses for me to get much use out of it. Go on. Open that gate again. There we go. Yeah, mostly the voice I decided on was... I don't think I have any names that I can specifically refer to. Like, I can't point out any specific characters that the voice is supposed to be based on, but... sort of an atmospheric average of everyone I've known that has sort of a gentle, elegant voice to listen to. Also, one thing I wanted to break was a lot of male speakers tend to speak in a very monotone inflection, which barely raises the pitch or cadence of their voice, and so they kind of just stay at the same level the entire time they're talking, and I never really enjoyed that. That's actually that's the really big reason why everyone says my voice is satisfying to listen to. It has a more melodic cadence to it.
How are you today?
I'm sorry for running away like that, but fear got the best of me. I'm glad you talked me into coming with you. Now that the curse has been lifted, I feel like I've taken care of my family's unfinished business. Excellent work, my friend. May the manor give you many years of happiness. I'm now off to the Imperial City once more. Farewell.
Well, glad to see that done with. What are your thoughts on automation games like Satisfactory? I don't think I've played too many of them lately. In Minecraft, I enjoy doing a lot of automation through using redstone and similar mechanics. I think I mostly avoid automation games out of the fact that I would become grossly addicted to them. So a very dangerous potential experience for me. So yes, I like them, but I don't really play them enough to have a valid opinion. You'll also notice after we lifted the curse here, the place is a lot more pleasant. Cabinets, candles. Unfortunately, we still have blobs of ectoplasm on the floor. We'll deal with that later. Balloons. Haven't heard that in a long time. What's the update you mentioned on Discord? That's right! I do believe you weren't here at the very beginning of the stream, Blake. There is, and it is kind of subtle, but I do essentially have a 2.0 model here. There is slightly more motion that you might notice on my model, but the most important thing is The glare on my glasses has been reduced and adjusted quite a bit, which, formerly, I don't know if you noticed it nearly as much as I did, but when I looked at certain angles, the glare on my glasses would actually obscure my eyes. It is now toned back quite a bit, so my pupils are basically always visible. The other thing that you might notice is there is a there is a monitor glare reflecting in my glasses as well. You see it a lot more on my right eye on your left side than on the other. I might have to talk to Art Dad about that. Welcome to the server, Decursion. I'll spruce it up sometime when I'm actually focusing on it. I do need to actually add roles for folks who want pings. Though, me being as passive as I am, I usually left it with not trying to ping everyone like what happens in a lot of the other servers I'm a part of. I'll be setting up the bot to allow roles for, say, certain types of stream pings, if you want to be pinged for everything or just certain types of games. I haven't played Bloons TD6, but I played a lot of the old Bloons Tower Defense Flash games. Haven't kept up with Bloons in about 10 years. Right, we have complete freedom onto what we attack next. Wonder what was going on in the Mages Guild questline. Which one was that? Dark Brotherhood, main quest. I might not have a recent Mages Guild quest then. Let's go ahead and look here, see if we can have... there's all the Divine Crusade. Mage's Staff. So, now that we do have that, I think it would be nice to hit up the Mages Guild. Notice at times you would do the anime glasses glint thing, but that seemed intentional, especially given that the moment seemed to punctuate. I still have that... Oh, wait. Wrong expression. I still had that as an option, but the average glare that was on my glasses, and I could definitely get a good picture of it. I do have one saved around here somewhere. I can bring it up and show it in the Discord. But there were certain angles that I would look at, and my pupils would be obscured by the glare on my glasses. As well, I've re-enabled a bunch of the rotational settings, so I should move a bit more fluidly now. Also, I'm far too big on that screen. Let me downsize that a bit and adjust. There we go. We have a lot of different directions we can take now. We can go through with the Fighters Guild, or the Mages Guild, or the main quest. If anyone would have a preference as to see us doing some swords and shields or spellcasting. What have you been playing, Decursion? Is it still Bloons or is it a different game? Oh, that's right. Potatoes were alchemy ingredients in this game. And I think we could afford to use a couple of Restore Fatigue potions, given that we're just hacking people apart with a sword frequently. Let's see, what are our lightest ingredients? Probably the strawberry. Funny enough, as a general rule, all of the realistic food items, such as corn, potatoes, strawberries, cabbages, pumpkins, those all have Restore Fatigue as their first effect. Kind of an interesting little standard among them. A lot of the effects with that is, if you ever just outright eat an ingredient, you'll get whatever its first effect is. eat that, and now in the top right corner you'll see we have Restore Fatigue going on. Sky Wars. You know, I've never really played any of these sort of competitive Minecraft settings. Yeah, hackers would be one reason I stay away from that. Also, I find it hard to believe that Minecraft has interesting PvP. Maybe after the most recent combat updates, but I did do a couple of, what was it? Sort of the Hunger Games setups, the proto battle royales. I did a few of those with Minecraft, and the combat just came down to facing your opponent and spamming left click with a better sword. Of course, that was older Minecraft. They've had updates since then. Unfortunately, I don't play Call of Duty ETG, so I have basically no perspective on such an idea. That's a little interesting. Interesting idea, Decursion. Though you should know that every video game montage has to have loud and obnoxious dubstep playing in the background. Yes, Xander thinks montage parodies are still funny in 2022. 10 years after they stopped being relevant. Actually, no, they probably were relevant 10 years ago, weren't they? When did dubstep become popular? Wasn't that around 2011 or 2012? That's what it feels like to me. So on our way... Wait, we've had a horse we could have ridden this entire time. Accidentally on foot, then. Trombe. I don't know if I've ever actually walked into this dungeon. And there's another Oblivion gate right ahead of us. We'll be seeing a lot of these. Do we have any public opinion if those are fun or not? I know those are usually tedious, so I try to avoid them. It's mostly the same stuff happening again and again. And they're probably not going to have very good loot until we start reaching later levels. Although I will definitely smack the skimp around. There. Catch these hands. Funny enough, it changes the sky, and the sky stays like that even after you walk away. It's a weather modifier, which does take a while to actually revert, so even though we've left that Oblivion gate far behind, we're going to have the red skies for quite a little bit. Influence of the Deadlands is up. Is that an... There's 100 total locations they can spawn. And as you see right here, there's another one. Because we're far enough in the main quest that they'll be showing up frequently. Come on. There we go. Anything good on you? Ooh. He actually has some decent armor. Let's go ahead and take that. If I remember, this was actually part of a quest here. This little camp. Repairing the orrery, that's what it was. We can do that whenever we return to the Mages Guild. Out of Magicka. You know, I could probably afford to do what one of my previous characters did. And that is just brew a ton of zero-weight Restore Magicka potions and leave them on a hotkey. Then just chug them whenever we get into trouble. So, now you'll see the weather is starting to revert to the blue skies we were so familiar with previously. But we walk over here and they're going to change right back. Ah, Oblivion's combat is so repetitive. We might eventually switch to a heavily modded playthrough in the future. One that, well, people watch Oblivion for all of its charming and somewhat dysfunctioning AI. But making the combat interesting would definitely make for a better overall experience. More Aliad ruins, I see. Varando. They always had weird names. Similar to the Daedric shrines you'd find so frequently in Morrowind, which had almost unpronounceable names. I've never heard of the Quiet Man before. I might have to look that up after the stream. Although that sounds like an indie horror game, which is a bit outside of my area of interest. I used to like indie horror games, which would have been about 10 years ago, when the whole streaming thing started to take off for some people. Yeah, we could have afforded to fast travel. We haven't really found enough interesting landmarks from point A to point B. As a fighting game player decursion, I absolutely do nothing on Wi-Fi. It's all cabled connections for me. After all, playing fighting games, you need to have an incredibly responsive time both to and from. Full console release game, really. Still sounds like a horror game. What genre is it? We have all of the Colovian Mountains over here, which will definitely make it harder to navigate. In fact, we're only about... Okay, we're almost there. We're about 2/3 of the way to our destination. I don't think Oblivion has nearly as many interesting landmarks and quests for us to be doing as, say, Skyrim would, so maybe we should just do fast traveling from this point onward. Ooh. The good news is we do find more alchemy ingredients. And, unfortunately, some wolves. Gotta level up that destruction, you know? How's our equipment condition doing? Decent. Pet him to death, indeed. With the electric touch. Divine Crusader shuffles his feet on the ground to build up as much static charge as possible. Then gives the nearby wolf an electric hug. Huh. All the audio is muted. Definitely an interesting perspective on game design. You know, I think that's higher than any ping I've ever measured. I used to live out in the countryside. And while I did have internet, it was very, very poor, and I would basically always be clocking 1,500 ping no matter what game I played. So, accordingly, I couldn't really play any game reliably online. Little Xander was restricted to online video game walkthroughs and forum posting. So I did have internet. I just couldn't play any of the games I wanted to. At 20k. You know, I might actually have been able to reach those numbers, but I don't remember the highest it ever spiked. Welcome thee! How are you doing this evening? I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. I'm looking forward to this week. We have King of Fighters 15 coming out on Thursday, which I plan on spending a lot of time with. And if the netcode is good, you might see it regularly happen. The stream is in 144. Do you have, I'm going to assume you're watching this on a phone. If you are watching this on a PC, I would recommend getting an Ethernet cable. Especially considering how rare it is to have servers in Indonesia. Yeah, definitely. I think MechWarrior actually has a couple of Oceania servers. Although when it comes to hosting servers for Southeast Asia, you just have to pick one place. You can't really have a lot of them in every country down there. PC but a laptop. Well, if it is a laptop, I assume you are on Wi-Fi then. Yep, for me it's just all cabled connections all day. Except on my phone, but I can't exactly hook up an Ethernet jack to my phone. And here's another gate, this time in front of the city. There comes a time in the main quest where we are tasked with closing each and every one of them. Although that is the biggest, grindiest part of the main quest. We might just do them separately as we pass by all of them, at some point or another. Yeah, right in front of the city. And life goes on as usual inside of the gate.
What is it?
Take a peek inside here, take a drink, and since we did just reach our destination, I'm going to vanish for a little bit. I'm gonna go grab myself some more tea. So, in order to make sure that Xander does not just wildly flail about on screen, I will swoosh down here for a moment. And I will return here in just a couple of minutes. Ugh. Those winter allergies are getting the best of me. No matter. I shall adjust in time. Ugh. There we go. Check the microphone and everything should... Huh. I sound a little different. What happened? Alright. Yeah, okay. That sounds back to normal. Indeed. So we return. If we are going to have a war over coffee versus tea, unfortunately, I am on the tea side. I don't think I've had coffee in... How long has it been?
Oh, hello.
About 6 months.
A hail and hearty welcome, friend.
Yep. Definitely part of tea gang over here.
Not me.
I actually just bought some caffeinated tea earlier. I normally drink uncaffeinated, but I think a little bit of caffeine, at least to help in the evenings, might help me keep focused and awake.
Please go ahead.
Ooh.
I spoke to him recently.
A glass sword, although I think these are usually replicas.
Rock and cave in the area.
Greetings. I see you've been keeping yourself busy. This is good. I believe it's time for you to perform some duties for your guild.
The worst questline we shall continue.
We are a brotherhood, a family. What affects one of us affects us all. Fighting, drunkenness, dereliction of duty are not tolerated. I would like you to speak with Modrin Orion. He will assign you any duties that are currently pending. Good luck to you.
And so we are off.
Just do your job.
Good afternoon.
Adventure
Good news
awaits.
From Kvatch for a change.
Huzzah!
The last of the Daedra have been driven out.
Has anyone watched that series by Joel Haver?
What do you want?
You might
I
have
suppose you've come
seen
looking
his
for
thumbnails.
duties, huh?
He's the guy that does live action skits and then runs back over them with a Photoshop filter, so it looks like some weird rotoscoped animation.
Duties for you. Fine. I'll speak slowly so you can keep up. I want you to contact Maglier.
In this case, Decursion, I will say no, as I'm probably never going to do anything Minecraft PvP related. But thank you very much for asking. Is there a character named Joan of Arc in this game? There might be as an Easter egg, but hold on. You know, there probably would be for an Easter egg's sake, but not one that I can remember. You know, I'll look that one up. Usually there's no specific reference to... no. Looks like there's not a Joan of Arc reference in any Elder Scrolls game. There are some usual typical fantasy references, such as in Skyrim, you actually find a lake with a hand holding a sword out of it, in reference to the Arthurian legend of the sword Excalibur being handed to you from a lake. And welcome, Azteca.
He's one of your Fighters Guild brothers, but he's defaulted on a contract. We can't allow that. Makes us all look bad. He didn't finish out a contract in Skingrad. Suppose I shouldn't be surprised. He's raw like you. Go and find out what's wrong with him.
Modrin casually throwing shade
Don't
at
just stand
us.
there. Move.
I understand.
This was part of the complaints that Patrician was talking about. So, Fighters Guild quests are only doable in Anvil, Coral, and Shadenhall, even though there's a guild in every single one of the towns. The other towns are just completely devoid of anything interesting to do for the Fighters Guild. So the way this setup is, you have to do a couple of quests here, then come all the way over here to the other side of the map, do a few quests here, then come all the way over here, and we started our next quest in Coral here, which tells us immediately that we have to go all the way over here to Skingrad. Then later we eventually have to be going basically down to Leowin, then back up to Shadenhall, and then back down to Leowin again, and so on and so forth. So while I have a rule against fast traveling in Skyrim, in Oblivion we're probably going to do a lot of it. Now, what important things could we do between here? Genghis Khan or Napoleon? The Khans conquered way more land. Although I can't remember the difference in technology between them. If you had an actual Napoleon army, wasn't he sort of around the Renaissance time? I can't remember if their rules were concurrent or not. In terms of pure military strategy, Khan would definitely win. But if we were to actually pitch their armies against each other, there might be a significant technological advantage from the side of Napoleon. Yeah, it was an Arthurian reference, Broham. A little bit of blood grass. If I remember correctly, these are one of the few places you can harvest Oblivion's ingredients after you've actually closed all the gates. Now, should we do this here or maybe next time? We'll definitely be passing by Coral frequently. Yeah, I'll leave that as a question floating here in the class. For the gates that are outside of each city, do we want to focus on closing them basically as we come across them, or all at once? That leaves us with a potential marathon stream of just closing gate after gate after gate after gate. Now, we're supposed to look for this Maglier fellow, which, if I remember, he should be in an inn somewhere. As I come across. And until we have a differing opinion, I'll leave that as the case. Westweld Inn. This is probably where we're looking. Uh-oh.
Look out.
Someone's revealing themselves to be a mythic god agent again. Did I say mythic god or mythic dawn? I might have been reading her name at the same time. We don't usually have a chance to, or we didn't have a chance to talk about her, but when you talk to her beforehand, she talks about how much she hates the Divines. Which, well, looking at a fellow who's the Divine Crusader himself, I'd probably take the offense to that.
What is it, brother? They send you to find me? Defaulted? I suppose so. I'm not paid enough to do the job. I was supposed to find Brennus Astus's journal.
Tell me about this little journal.
That was my job. They said it was in Fallen Rock Cave. You ever been in there? Didn't think so. I'm not going back. Not for that kind of money. If you care that much, you go find it. The contract's yours. It's not worth it for what the guild is paying. I've got a family to think about. Whatever.
Fallen Rock Cave. That doesn't sound very sinister, but I anticipate there's going to be zombies and the like inside. Possibly a very dangerous environment. So that's how it's pronounced. Cyrilli, I think. More grapes, which will also have a restore fatigue effect for us. You know, we could afford to hotkey some potions, probably. Yeah, we definitely don't need some of the other things we have hotkeyed here. Let's just leave those as an option. The Westworld has some of the better alchemy ingredients, flax seeds being incredibly important. You know what, before we leave Skingrad, I don't know... Wait, no. I don't think that's actually the Skingrad gate. I'd like to get through with a lot of the game-specific content, so I might not just conquer every irrelevant Oblivion gate we come across. Also, by the way, here is the location of the giant Nirnroot in the game. You'll see this thing stands almost as tall as I do. And because it's so special, we will leave it be. There's also a giant mud crab in one of the caves in this game. Yeah, Oblivion has one of the best OSTs of any game I've played. In fact, I actually think it's better than Skyrim's. I've heard some opinions that it seems the majority of people say that Skyrim's OST is better than Oblivion's, but I disagree. You know, ETG, it is very possible to do something like that already with the help of Mugen. In fact, I would actually like to have a Mugen tutorial or Mugen stream sometime. But I don't know if I have enough of a fighting game audience for that. I know I have a Guilty Gear specific audience, but not sure about fighting games in general. We will gauge just what happens when KOF releases on Thursday. And speaking of programming, remember that we do have our... ghosts, of course. We do have our first programming stream on Saturday. Take that back. Karen Ballette. What do these do? Are these worth taking? Restore health. These are very, very worth taking. Absolutely. We'll combine those with Fly Amanita for restore health potions. I know Fly Amanita comes back in Skyrim, but I don't think Karin Ballette does. Maybe they're called Whitecaps then. Because they are, similarly, a white mushroom. Well, with Mugen you can't use 3D character models, but you can use sprites. So with enough time, you could go ahead and rotoscope or basically just image capture all the animations you want to use. There's actually a few Mugen characters that do exactly that. There, fix that. And that. Have you heard the Mantis Lord soundtrack? I have not. I don't even know what Mantis Lords is. Although immediately my brain goes to, Inscription. Which, by the way, we will have a few Casey's mod streams. But, maybe... I'll have to think. As we get more games on our list for regular play, I do still want to leave a lot of room open for our more episodic series. I don't necessarily want to just stock up everything on, say, recurring Dead Cells or Inscription or Guilty Gear streams. Granted, I'm always going to do Guilty Gear, because Guilty Gear is wonderful. I do believe undead are weak to fire, so we'll try to use our sword versus them. Against specifically the skeletons and zombies. I don't think ghosts have a particular weakness to fire. Created him in Roblox. What a classic. You know, if I was born 5 years later, I guarantee you I would have been obsessed with Roblox. Do we have a soul trap? I don't think we have a soul trap spell. We should definitely get one. Right, you're weak to fire. Ah, didn't hit both of them. Funny enough, for me mentioning that we were going to use the sword, we just ran out of charge for it. There was actually... Oh, wait, are we over in... No, I was just standing on a cliff there. There was one mod I had, which gave you a scripted spell that you could just channel your magicka and recharge weapons that way. I know Roblox gets memed on, but isn't it like an actual game development engine? Ah! I think I remember seeing recently that there was someone who made a really good first-person shooter in that game. Elven Longsword. But I feel like that's going to be weaker than our Crusader sword, so we'll leave it behind. We also don't get free repairs on it. You know, maybe Armorer would be a skill worth leveling. 14. We could definitely afford some level ups there. You know, we did make Sneak one of our major skills, but we haven't really been using it. I guess we're not supposed to go through there. I guess that's an explanation why this place is called Falling Rock Cave. Is that still Flare? Oh no, it was Spark that we had in the first slot. Damage Fatigue, Detect Life, and Detect Damage Magicka. Interesting. Welcome, Bruno. Or should I say welcome back? This game is faster to complete. Ninja Bread, Man Walk, and Roll Adventures. Blah, 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 blah. I don't think I've even heard of any of those games. Sounds like those would be Roblox games or some weird obscure Flash games from a while back. We're looking for a journal, so maybe I missed it. Should be somewhere in this cave. After all, we found the chest at the back, which usually has all the loot we'd be looking for. The water down here, yeah, okay. So that is not the way we should be going. That is essentially the way back, after we've completed the dungeon. We shuffleware. Yeah, definitely wouldn't have been anything in my catalog. I could never even get my Wii to connect to the Wi-Fi, so... Only thing that wasn't on a disc that I had on my Wii was Star Fox 64 that I bought one time at a friend's house. I didn't get much of anything else ever downloaded. No, that's the exit. Where is it that we go? Take a look at the local map. Right. Through here, and then we go straight through. Correct. It looks like this is not the path. No. We want the path that isn't flooded with water. So it's off to the left here. Indeed, we're not going downward, so this should lead us to on top of the other space. Kind of funny how all of Oblivion's caves sort of have this roughly square shape to their rooms. You'll see with the way all these are oriented. Ah, this was the way we didn't go, and allegedly there should be something off in this direction, right? It looks like there was a hole. There was no hole there. I'm really sure we're not supposed to go that way, right? They blocked us off with all the rocks, so... Ah, here we are. We could also afford to have a little bit of light in here, thank you. There's the journal. And there's a few crabs. Take all that. Restore endurance and resist shock. Not very useful there either. How good's your graphics card, Decursion? I would say don't get a 165 Hz monitor unless you had a graphics card that could support it. I have two, and I have trouble playing a lot of games now since it's such a high demand. In fact, most of the time I'm not leaving them on the full 165 Hz. I have so few games that can actually keep up with that. Otherwise, if you ever have internet problems, maybe get a new router, but routers, as long as you have one, shouldn't be replaced nearly as frequently. My vote is on the monitor. Look at that. The legions of hell have just... They don't know where to place their nether portals. You found Brynnis Astis's journal. You should either speak with Maglir or tell Mordrin Orin that the contract is now completed. Do we rat him out? We can either go speak specifically to the boss, or we can return to Maglir and let him essentially take the credit for our work. But, you know, we'd be looking out for Homie. What do you think we should do? While I'm here, I do believe the specific Skingrad gate was next to the castle, which should be on the east side, right? Yeah. Wait, Water Hyacinth. I think those actually had some of the most important effects for us. Restore Magicka! There it is. We can combine those with our flax seeds and just get a very reliable source of lightweight Magicka potions. Ooh, a way shrine as well. We have previously completed our pilgrimage. Let's go see if we can get a little buff from the gods. After all, we will be fighting the legions of hell momentarily. Give me a little boop. I forget what Mara gives us. Endurance, probably. No, willpower. Interesting. Interesting idea trying to license the IP rights. I say good luck to you in that endeavor. Shuffleware. Man, what was the last shuffleware game I played? I think I had some otherwise unremarkable games on the Nintendo DS, but for the longest time I played mostly reputable games. Yeah, there's the castle, and there should be an Oblivion gate showing up on the map somewhere close to us. Or, of course, we could wait until we have that quest unlocked telling us which gates are the ones we actually have to close. You know, I think that actually might be better. Oh, no, there it is. I think that's it. But with so many of them close to the city, we don't know which is which, do we? Okay, here's the plan. We'll go through the main quest long enough to get to the point where we have to close all these gates. And then when we know which ones it is that we have to close, we'll pass by each of them and take care of that as it happens. Loading screen, quick. You know what? I think we'll talk to Maglir specifically here. Let's give him a little hello, shall we? We'll just try to help out a homie.
You're still around. I've told you why I defaulted on the contract. Not too much else to be said about it. Do what you must. You found it, huh? Good work, I guess. Well, take it back to Orin then. He can pay you on the contract. Tell him what you want about me.
It doesn't matter what option we pick here, because I think we still get to change what we say to Modrin when we actually talk to him.
I understand about duty. Don't get me wrong. Should have been more than one guy on this job, and I've got my family to think about. They come
You
first.
know he's taking it well. I think we picked the right option.
Whatever. You're still...
That doesn't sound like
Take
he
your
likes...
time.
No, he does like me.
Whatever.
He might just be a little bit upset with us, then. Very well. Off to Coral we return. Maybe one Oblivion Gate per stream wouldn't be a bad idea. He looks like Humpty Dumpty. And so does everyone else, to be honest.
Terrible creatures. They travel in packs. Get a move on.
Very
Why are you
potato-faced
talking to me?
fellows.
Shouldn't you be finding Maglir? So, I assume you've dealt with Maglir. Tell me about why he defaulted on his contract. You've got the journal. Good. So, what happened in Skingrad? You did it? I'll be talking to Maglir soon. I don't need one wet ear covering for another. Still, the job got done. Here's the reward.
Huh. Well, we've done things a little responsibly, so I think we're okay.
Back for more work, are you? Good. Some of our boys are causing trouble in Leowin. Looks bad for the guild. Some of your
Causing
brothers
trouble?
have been getting rowdy at the local tavern. I've got no problem with cutting loose, but I don't like it when we all look bad. You're looking for Relian, Vantus Prelius, and Dubak Grosha.
Why is Shrek...
I haven't had any trouble with them before, so find out what's going on. I'll be waiting.
Shrek's son, you say? He definitely looks the part. The Dark Elves in this game have relatively green skin. Case in point. You know, his hair looks pretty much the same as mine does. That's why I picked this style specifically. Acrobatics. And health there.
This is a good place to live.
I think we can actually just afford to sell those. I don't imagine we actually have much use for those items. They don't really have any better enchantments, and only thing comparable would be the chest piece here, which has a only slightly stronger fortify health buff. So yeah, All of those are entirely forgettable. Shrek's son is in Oblivion because, well, you can see the characters' faces are needing a little bit of work.
Yes?
Not necessarily ideal. Heck, you know what? Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a relatively rushed playthrough. At some point, I might do a heavily modded playthrough in which I make all the faces look better for a second time around with Oblivion. Where are the shops? I'm looking for a blacksmith. Huh. Nowhere to be found. So, we will make our way towards Leowin, as I told you. Okay, so we went up to Coral for a job, then went back down to Skingrad, then came back up to Coral, and now we have to go all the way down to Leowin. Which basically makes it obligatory that we fast travel everywhere. No, that's the chapel. We went into the priory. Head downstairs, and since this is on the way from point A to point B, we will give everything we have a repair and recharge. And put the mace back because we are not using it. Oh no, he's hot! You know, he looks good. He looks good without the helmet. But the helmet is a necessary part of the set. You know, maybe in the future we'll actually try to see if we can find an open-faced helmet for us to wear. After all, it's a lot more appropriate to show everyone your good, luscious looks. Alright, we should have a quest marker somewhere around here. And luckily I know where the blacksmiths and the traders are here.
Greetings.
Unfortunately, it is far too late, so the shops are not going to be open. Now, which inn is it? At least I'd imagine it would be an inn. Usually it's whatever building is closest to the front door.
Get out of here! We don't need you around.
Hail, Sir Knight.
Hurry it up, swamp rot. I'm thirsty over here. It's not wise to interrupt us in the middle of our discussion.
Some discussion you're having.
I don't think so. I'll tell you what real trouble is. It's trying to pay my debtors when there's no work. It's my wife taking in wash to buy food. That's been the state of things since the Blackwood Company began moving in. I spit on them. Mercenaries sent by the Emperor to reclaim territory in Black Marsh. When they failed, they came back and set up shop. They've been undercutting us on contracts ever since, and they've no qualms about accepting jobs no guild member would be caught dead doing. A brilliant idea. Orion only sends his best these days. Tell you what, you go find us some paying work and we'll happily go about it.
Well, this sounds like a very reasonable solution for us to find.
Jobs would be great. Too bad no one is giving us any these days. If you can find some work for us, we'll do it. Much obliged? You've never worked an honest day in your life, you stupid orc.
Orc? Look at him. You know, that would be a very good pick for a thumbnail. Hold on.
Filthy orc, I smell you from here.
You need to find us work. You're supposed to be boss.
How about you send over a few more drinks, sweetheart?
Hello.
Nothing more.
Bless this psychotic excuse of a game. You know, if we are talking to locals, maybe it is best to speak
Your
to...
Fighters Guild. Get them out of here.
Let's see. Tell me about
Causing
them.
trouble? Yes. Causing much trouble. Scaring customers. Breaking furniture. Bad, bad men. They have caused trouble here as well. But they have gold to pay for the trouble. Things are always better when served with gold.
Wow, sounds like Leowin is being kind of a slum town.
Jobs for the Fighters Guild. Try Margart. If she's not at home or at the Five Claws, she's probably out looking for alchemical ingredients.
Well, that sounds simple enough.
Make them leave now.
Yeah, give me a moment. We need to find ourselves a little bit of work to do here. And if this is the quest I remember it being... Nah, we don't have a well-rested bonus in this game, so no reason to sleep at the end. We'll look for the Mages Guild around here. And pick up some very important mushrooms. Fungi. Like me. I'm a very fun guy. Oh yes, another Daedra worshipper attacking me at midnight.
The dawn is breaking!
How poetic. Shame. He just had to go. Yeah, Wood Elves are very short characters. A lot of the,
What can I do for you, citizen?
like, yeah, the other human characters going to be relatively the same size. But Wood Elves have always been incredibly short in every single game. And in fact, they're the only race in the Elder Scrolls which has the very strange quirk of the men being shorter than the women. What was that? Oh, you mean the guy just randomly assaulting me? Well, he's a demon worshipper. And he doesn't like me and the fact that I'm trying to stop his plan. Here's a bed. Just pick one and fall in it. Get our 8 hours. Now that would be a video game. At least take me out to dinner first. Before you try something like that. Alright, we have work to be doing here. I guess I slept in someone else's bed, and they decided not to mind. I do. What about insects? Well, sexual dimorphism is everywhere in the animal kingdom. But not really in the case of primates. Or whatever you'd... Would an elf be a primate? I think so, since they're essentially derivative of human in some form or another.
My name is Margart. Professionally, I'm a trade consultant. I offer advanced mercantile training, by the way. But my real passion is alchemy. I love brewing up new and interesting potions, just for fun.
And a wonderful pastime
it's a pity
it
my
is.
busy consulting and training schedule leaves me little time for gathering ingredients. And heavens forfend that my husband Itar devote a few minutes from his all-consuming hobby,
VTubing.
stirring up trouble between Khajiits and Argonians, to help me find ingredients.
How would elves evolve from apes? That's an entire theory to dedicate its own video to. Yeah, everyone in Oblivion has a potato face that's very, very scary. Maybe if we had a little bit more light here in
Take
this
care.
conversation.
I hope I can help.
I'd say that's slightly less terrifying. Or more, pretending on your perspective. Only Bruno I can remember is the one from Pokemon.
I suppose I've got something I could use the guild's help with. I need ogre teeth and minotaur horn for my alchemy experiments. They're tough to get, but I prefer fresh, and I'll pay well. And I just don't trust those Blackwood Company folks to find them.
That's a good lass.
Well, I'm not sure about you either. Tell you what, if you bring me back 5 portions of ectoplasm, I'll give my business to the guild. That's my offer.
Yeah, about that, we might have spent the first half of this stream fighting ghosts, haven't we? Oh, wow. I have far more motion on my eyebrows, too. Look at that. Of course, that might be the eye parameters that are changing. I'll play with the new model. What exactly is ectoplasm? Ecto meaning... What does ecto mean? I assume plasma would mean it's something plasmic. It's referred to as a slime. To a more select group of people, microbiologists, it is the outer layer of cytoplasm that helps make up an amoeba. Ecto being almost exo and sort of being outside. So, allegedly, it's just basically supposed to be nondescript ghost slime? Whatever makes up a ghost, which, since they do have sort of a gaseous or plasmic nature, it might be some sort of material that could be using the behaviors of a plasma at a relatively room temperature. Yeah, as described in Ghostbusters.
Well, you've got the ectoplasm. Seems you Fighters Guild types can do a job when you put your mind to it. Tell your men I'll pay them for minotaur horns and ogre teeth. The Fighters Guild will be my sole supplier. I look forward to doing more business.
Thank you, Mrs. Potato
I'll be waiting
Face.
for teeth and horns.
You know, without context, that would be a very creepy thing to say. I'll be waiting for teeth and horns.
Leave here now.
Sounds like something you'd hear Dramora say.
I've told you what we need. Until we've work, we'll stay here. Find ingredients from our guard, huh? Works for me. I'll let the other men know. Appreciate your help, friend. And Orion should be happy.
Isn't that right, Mr. Squidward? Now get back to work! I know there's the membrane on the outside of other cells, but I don't think that's actually referred to as an ectoplasm. Huh. I actually don't know what a cell membrane is made out of. I know it's little, it's a double layer of cilia that are selectively permeable, but I don't know what the material or molecules making them up would be called.
The Blackwood Company has taken that much of a foothold in Leowin. Those sons of...
Not on the stream.
Never mind. You've done your job. Here's your payment for it.
Why are you always angry?
You've done well. Because of your efforts, you have achieved the rank of Swordsman of the Fighters Guild.
He looks grumpy even when he's smiling at us.
I don't have anything for you right now. Speak with Azan or Grokash. Get some more seasoning, and maybe I'll have something.
Well,
Or
how wonderfully
perhaps
done.
you're ready for advancement. Stay with it.
I guess that's enough Fighters Guild for now. Speaking of guilds, why don't we go see what the mages are up to? But first, a trip over to the market district. We have a couple of things we'd like to lighten our load with. 7:45. We can still get in before the shops close. Funny enough, it is not the dark elves that reside in the swamp. The swamp terrain is occupied by the
A pleasure to
Argonians,
speak.
which are the
Only
lizard
quality
folk.
goods for sale here. What can I interest you in?
That's actually a really strong weapon because of the damage attribute effects. If you hit someone with that 20 times, they'll no longer be able to move. Because they can't move with what they're carrying. Actually, hold
And
on.
that- certainly.
Disposition
I
next.
offer the finest.
So maybe we can adjust this a little bit more.
You're trying to drive me out of.
What a shame. How about over here? That'll do, pig. That'll do.
That seems a fair price. You drive a hard bargain. Come back. I can fix whatever you break.
Ooh. Yeah, I can afford that. He does seem more tense. I guess he's got a pretty important job
met.
to take care of.
Pay
You were-
attention, and you
You
can
do
learn
train
a lot.
armorer.
Let's get to train. There's much I. Good that. Pay attention. There's much I can. Be seeing you.
That is a very important skill for us to increase, because as we get it high enough, we can repair our equipment ourselves. However, we need to get it to level 50 in order to repair any of our enchanted gear.
It's
Ah, the applause in the background. It's been a while since we stepped into the arena as well.
what is it, citizen?
Always a fun little quest line to carry out. Doo-doo-doo-doo. And come knocking on heaven's door. You know, we invested in sneak, but sneaking we haven't really done. Though we've made plenty of use of mercantile and speechcraft, we didn't really need to spread our skills out so much, so we only had a few we cared about. Although we have been leveling up a lot of light armor otherwise. And restoration. Really? I didn't pick restoration as one of my major skills. Seems we might not have picked our optimal arrangement here. The cells and dead cells are probably made out of ectoplasm. How are the boss fights in this game? Tedious and seldom leave with any interesting mechanics. It's usually just you slashing back and forth with the enemy.
You must be.
Yeah, there's not really anything for interesting fights to be had in this game. It's about the world and the atmosphere here, I'd say. Wait,
I
Remnants.
have a new task for you.
Excellent, he has more stuff.
Before you begin, we must first discuss your advancement within the guild.
And discuss we
In
shall.
accordance with guild rules, you now qualify for the rank of journeyman. May you wear your rank well.
Can we advance again?
You do not yet qualify.
Not yet. Alright, tell me what
The
we're doing.
council is investigating what happened at Wellspring Cave. Many of our resources are devoted to the task, leaving our ranks spread thin. There is a related book that needs to be recovered. It was recently loaned to Janice Hasseldor, the Count of Skingrad. I'd like you to retrieve it. I understand this may not seem the most important of tasks, but still, it needs doing, and you are one of the few available to do it. A note of caution. Skingrad is an unusual place. Be prepared for the unexpected. Bye.
You know, Decursion, I seldomly use the repeater crossbow. I should definitely pick that up. That is a very, very good weapon for bard
Well
tips.
met, guildmate.
Hello, journeyman.
Mage quarters. Get ourselves a little bit of rest here. Of course you've occupied every single bed. Very well, a nighttime walk we will go for. from Skingrad. Yeah, it's not really going to be much of an issue. We can fast travel there. When we start doing a Morrowind or Skyrim playthrough, though, where the game was made more around having actual proper quest structure, we're not going to be fast traveling as much. So a lot more time to see the idle sights here and there. Ah, nothing for us to do here either. To the East Gate, and then to the Mages Guild, and then we take ourselves a little rest. Or the Fighters Guild, whichever's closer. Mages Guild it is, since the Fighters Guild is just over there. And, well, inconsequential. There should be plenty of... That one's occupied. Quick, before someone else steals it from me. You could probably look on a main Disney channel for the answer for that, ETG. Unfortunately, Bruno, I do not watch anime, as much of a surprise as that is. A habit I'm trying to break, but I'm just too much of an epic gamer to ever not be epic gaming. Nah, my spare time is usually devoted to video games. I'm not usually watching things. I do occasionally watch anime with friends, though.
Yes, the Mages Guild, you say? Oh, the Count
Look
is
at his
quite aware of your
eyes.
presence here. He simply has no
Look at
interest
his
in
eyes.
granting you an audience at this time. Now that I've seen you myself, I can't say that I blame him. Nevertheless, I shall
You're
endeavor
one to
change his
talk.
mind on the subject. Return tomorrow. Perhaps he will see you then.
Maybe I'd need a face reorganization
Listen.
mod, like,
Read any
immediately.
good books lately?
I've been trying.
How? Hold on. How do you
Trying to get through mysterious
How do you
act-
even
Hi there.
make
It's a fairly interesting read.
a face that
An excellent
asymmetrical?
read. Though it's been a while since I've read it myself. Let me know how you like it.
Has a day passed? Then Has a day passed yet? No? Then, as I told you, I don't have any new information for you, do I?
Don't ever remember seeing that guy before. That is the single ugliest mofo I have ever seen in this game. Well, you did hear the man. We have to go see him tomorrow. Now, I don't know if this is supposed to be Skingrad's Gate specifically, but let's take a little stroll in, shall we? What's our easiest way up there? Probably from this side. Huzzah! Let's go smack up some Daedra, shall we? Someone's shooting at me. Oh, there you are. Easy, and the stunted scaps usually don't drop ingredients for us. Ah, yeah, I didn't actually think your welcome would be one of the highest. I thought, I was thinking Let It Go would be up there at the top. But who knows? I haven't kept up with Disney in years, to say the least. In we go. We'll only be using health potions in an emergency, basically, as we'll get to level up our restoration by expending our magicka on a healing spell instead. Ooh, we have one of these gates. 3 towers await us. You, my friend, are weak to ice. And accordingly will not take any fire damage from our sword. We might use that a lot, and especially more than our electric shocking touch, so let's do that instead. Interestingly enough, Daedra canonically are usually weak to electric damage, if I recall. I think they might have done away with that in newer games. Ooh, that restores our magicka pretty quickly. Maybe there's some other buffs we could apply while we're using it. We do not have a shield on self spell, interestingly enough. We might need to pick up one. Let it glow. Not really an issue there, is it? So, here's the thing. Oblivion, they were trying to develop everything for the Xbox first, which is why the UI here is so huge. There are some mods that you can find for Skyrim which make the UI smaller and a lot more condensed on a PC interface. But this was made for a console first. Notice when I open up this door, where is my mouse? Where is my mouse? Only after moving it around a bunch do we see that it is down here, but if we bring it any bit closer to the lock, it disappears. Because the mouse is also used for our controls with the lockpicking. So, if you want to leave the lockpicking interface, you have to find your mouse by wiggling it around until you actually see it appear on the bottom half of your screen. If it goes up any higher, it'll disappear. Let me know how it is, Taco. I wish I could be playing KOF right now. I still gotta decide who I'm playing, but definitely with everyone's promotional videos. I'll have a good way to look it up. I mean, I know I always have to play my boy Terry. It's great. How's the net code? That's the biggest... The damage scaling is something, really. I imagine the combos can be long, but don't really do much more damage. Terry can do 50k damage with 1 bar of meter, you say? Well, I know who I'm playing. Focus, focus. Ah, that was it. Focus. Ah, that was it. Got it. The netcode is fantastic. Well, I look forward to streaming that on Thursday. And when I have the game, I'm definitely down for sets with anyone. Although I have not played much of any King of Fighters game lately, so I'd be very rusty. In fact, my only experience so far really is just a bit in 13. And sort of an underwhelming reward there. The reason why it's hard in video games is because, well, the entire mechanic they limit you with is the fact that lockpicks are so easily breakable. Lockpicks don't break easily in real life. And so it's just mostly limited by how many lockpicks you're carrying with you. It is easy in real life because once you know the strategy, the lockpicks made for that task are not going to be very breakable. Yeah, the fact that Daedra are using human pickable locks That's ridiculous. Right. We need to activate a lever at the top, I believe. After all, if a tool in real life breaks just from mishandling once, it's not a very good tool, is it? Oh, right, Taco, you're a console player. Damn it. I look forward to facing you in one game. Eventually. How much of a Street Fighter fan are you, Taco? Granted, I don't have much experience in that game, but that is the only crossplay option I immediately know. In fact, once we reach level 10, I'll be able to get my hands on an unbreakable lockpick. You play Street Fighter V. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to speak to some friends about practicing that. I do have another friend who needs to get back into Street Fighter V, since that is another crossplay option we have, and we're looking for more fighting games to play with each other. Yeah, I could afford to relearn it. Although for the short time I did play Street Fighter V, I was a filthy G player. I gotta have my high damage robberies. GG is my focus right now too. And like you, I have high hopes for Slayer being revealed soon. You know, Taco, you and I are a lot alike. Perhaps... Perhaps there is an overarching alignment between characters who like to play swaggy and high damage. Between the Gold Lewis, Slayer, and G. Two peas in a pod. We must hang out one of these days. I don't know anything about the latter video, ETG, so I don't have an opinion. God damn it. Taco, I was also thinking about dropping G for Oro. Or, Zeku. Zeku is the other character. Just gotta have my tryhard characters. Yeah, Tengu Stone is great. Now we're finally at the top, so we can open up one of the drawbridges, Really? Oh, there's the controls, on the other side there. I could have just hit the take all button. Now where's that lever? Lock 1 of 2 has been released. Now we'll have to take care of the other. Street Fighter V is missing Dudley, who carried you in Street Fighter 4 Ultra. Okay, that's where the similarities end. I played Gouken in Street Fighter 4. And similarly, I'm going to definitely play Geese in King of Fighters. Which, it would be very weird having Geese and Terry on a team together. So, maybe I'll drop one of them. But I absolutely needed those, directional parries that Geese has. Predictable. Can't get enough of that. Yeah, though there does seem to be a lot of overlap between Dudley and G players, I've noticed. Although the only example I can think of is Smug. Used to watch his streams a lot. I do think Luke was a good, albeit kind of a weird choice. But then again, he is a new character, and he is supposed to signal what's happening with Street Fighter in the future. Oh, so now this bridge is released. So now we have to head downstairs and go across. There we go. Now our level up is ready. And we should definitely buy a better electric spell. What I'd like to wait on is getting a better Wizard's Fury from the Mage's Guild questline. In fact, I might even download an automatic quest reward leveler. That was a mod I had on last time I was playing Oblivion. It would make it so your quest reward items would level with you. I haven't looked enough at the newest roster, so I don't know who to expect. Come on. Now we wait for the burden to expire and heal off the damage, while that scamp slowly pelts us with fire, which we resist. There we go. What were you carrying? Weight of Guilt. Just a generic burden mace, it looks like. Ooh. Or a blood fountain, which will heal us unconditionally, so we don't have to waste mana using Restore Health on ourselves. It'll be a really big problem trying to play a mage character in Morrowind, given that you don't naturally regenerate magicka in that game. Still haven't decided what to do for the Morrowind playthrough. If we have enough of an Elder Scrolls following, I might make it open Morrowind, and then do a multiplayer with it, which would be an absolute delight to play with anyone looking to join. The Sorrow Keep. Welcome, Beef Bull. We are currently traversing ourselves through Skimgrad's Oblivion Gate. And currently reconsidering the fact that we really need stronger destruction spells. Waste of Oblivion. There we go. Now that we have gone down the stairs, we can head up to the top of this spire. I don't know anything about TES software themselves. I imagine they wouldn't have been in business long after that Superman game. Yeah, me too, Beef Bull. I am an absolute Elder Scrolls fanboy. Yes, I'm currently simulcasting. And if you are so inclined, or if you do have a preference yourself, I tend to put a little bit more focus on my YouTube channel specifically. I think I do have links in my Twitch description. And give me one of those potions. We really should grab ourselves a soul trap spell. Make use of those, Oh, right. These are the hallways we have to look out for. Because, and I'm pretty sure there's another one around here. Or not. More of a Twitch guy. Understandable. Everyone has their preferences. Yeah, it's these you have to watch out for. Really? Okay, so it only triggers from this side. Yeah, that would absolutely kill you if it fell on you, and it wasn't a video game. Ooh, staggered it. Quick, now we play the zoning game. So that right there is a complex question, Beefbull, as my opinion there might be heavily biased. if we're talking about pure vanilla, after coming back to playing a relatively vanilla Oblivion, I think vanilla Morrowind would be my favorite. It's the game that you can change the least and have me still love it, if you just compare each unchanged game to each other. But a special caveat in the fact that I've only played maybe 300 hours of Morrowind in total. But Skyrim, I've played for about 3,000, mostly owing itself to the, what's it called? The Requiem overhaul, which I don't know how familiar you'd be with Skyrim's modding. Robert has an infinite, of course. While it is early enough in the game's lifetime that infinites are to be expected, a lot of people are a lot of devs I've seen are trying to develop specific, like combo setups that let you basically freeform your combos without some weird arbitrary anti-infinite rules. There's Guilty Gear, for an example, makes it to where your opponent character actually falls down faster the longer a combo goes on. But weren't there some grounded infinites? Well, essentially, the wall break means that you have an infinite prevention system there. But there are some combos that can go on really long. I think actually, recently someone labbed it out and found that there was a Giovanna combo in Strive that would essentially be an infinite loop going from corner to corner on heavyweight characters. Yeah, Skullgirl's having its very, very obvious infinite prevention system in giving you a burst after a combo's gone on long enough. I think BlazBlue actually handles it in a way that I like the most, where, hit stun, well, I'd chalk it up to a combination of certain games. I liked how it was handled in prior Guilty Gear games, where hit stun scales for shorter amounts of time as the combo goes on. Skullgirls only has 2 boys, and 2 very good boys they are. I actually played both of them quite a lot. Beowulf's one of the most fun characters I've seen in any game with his grab memes. Find Morrowind difficult to play without mods, honestly. You can't stand the chance to hit. I've initially hated it, but slowly come to enjoy it a bit more. Just as I've taken to looking to it as more of a role-playing experience, and focusing more specifically on the, actually increasing my chance to hit in general, and handling fatigue responsibly. Let's see what little stone we have here. Well, Beef Bowl, if you are intrigued, I have recently picked up, or reintroduced Guilty Gear Strive as a weekly thing that I do on every Friday. And possibly more days during the week, since those are regularly my best streams. I don't know how much experience you have with Strive, or if you have much interest in it, but if you are interested in seeing the direction that Guilty Gear has gone, I'll be happy to present it to you if you'd like to join us on Friday. The VODs for my streams are also, well, literally, since I simulcast to YouTube and Twitch, the exact streams that I give are unedited and available on YouTube as well. Yeah, it's incredibly bizarre that, Plus R would be on Switch but not on PS4? Seems like something you'd very easily find in an online marketplace. Absorb agility on that sigil stone. Could be better. And my cat resumes harassing me once more. What's on your mind? Come here. Come here, you little... You little scrunko. Now, is it the next day yet? we might be able to visit that guy in the castle, but it looks like that only took us basically 12 hours to do that little routine. Last you played was Guilty Gear X, so it has been a long time indeed. Skipped over Xard, which, to this day, is still my favorite, I'd say. I think Dandy Step is the single most signature thing about Slayer. So, Dandy Step you can expect to stay. I imagine he'll keep Dandy Step and Blood-Sucking Universe guaranteed, but the only other thing he had in Xard was the, unblockable special gimmick. I'm kind of sad to see how much they reduced Slayer from XX to, Xard. I am a Heian player in Xard. And to this date, even more than I don't know. Maybe I like Gold Lewis more. But I have a very special place in my heart for Heian, as that was the first character that I ever seriously labbed in a fighting game.
Hi there.
The first time I actually sat down and spent hours on end trying to practice those combos. Hey, Ugly, how you doing? You gonna look at me with those
Has a
asymmetrical
day
eyes
passed
again?
yet? No? Then, as I told you, I don't have any new information for you, do I?
I do enjoy my, strong bearded men. It's what I aspire to be. Slayer, Johnny, and Sin. Who do I... I don't think I have an official sub in Xard. Heian does everything I need for my fighting game needs, so I don't think I have a reason to play another character. But like every other Guilty Gear player, I do have a pocket soul. Well, we have to waste time, and I know exactly how to do it. Well, first we need to repair all of our gear. Gee. Everything broke. Oh, we haven't been wearing the helmet this entire time. To the priory we go. If I spent more time with Xard, I probably would have picked up Johnny. I tried playing Johnny in Accent Core, but eventually just fell in love with Slayer instead. When I first picked up Johnny, I didn't stick with him because it was weird doing his slash cancels on a pad, but since then I have moved to a mix box, so I might have a better chance. Stop bumping the mic, you little scrunko. Can you hear him? Hold on. Let me check to see if he's audible. Let's see. Mike? Take off that filter real quick, and he should be audible. Well, if he's gonna bump the mic like that. Move that out of the way. Go ahead and say hi to the class, little boy. Welcome, Error. Ah, he's gone quiet. Go on, sing to them. What a sweet little rascal he is. Alright, that's enough. Noise suppression goes back on. How are you doing this evening, Error? I do see you're about 9 subscribers away from 1,000, which I'd be super glad to see you hit soon. Possibly within the month. Or even within the week. No, stop bumping the mic. I'm gonna kick you out if you keep doing this. Ah, what a little rascal he is. Re-equip everything while he continues to bump around everything on my... You know what? Go away. Alright. Uh-huh. Hold on. Did my headphones just die? Or no. Still reading my mic. But I don't hear anything from the game. That's weird. Hold on. Let me restart that real quick. I knocked my cat off my table, and it seems like he might have disrupted a connection here. Give me a moment to mess with this. Okay, now we're working again. That was weird. I don't know what he bumped, but as I knocked my cat off the table, he cut off my sound. Oh, you're 7 away. I checked your channel earlier and it seems you had 2 since then. In that case, yeah, I definitely see you hitting 1K within the week. Which, you have my preemptive congratulations here. My day so far has been very good, and in fact, while you are here, I can go ahead and show off a little bit of things. I'm not sure how much you'd notice, because you might not be nearly as self-conscious as I am, but I do have a slight update on my model here. You'll notice that the painting glare on my glasses is a little bit less noticeable. Occasionally it would actually cover my eyes, and so you wouldn't be able to see them. And on top of that, as another bit to the Xander 2.0 update, you can see a monitor glare in my glasses now, too. So, Xander should be a little bit more presentable. Now let's get ourselves back in Oblivion. Come on, there we go. Yeah, I myself am excited because this should be a very, very big week for us. We have King of Fighters coming out on, Thursday. Wait, no. Put the mace back down. And we really have to get rid of a lot of the stuff. I think there's a chest that we can store some things around here. Maybe a visit to a home somewhere. What is weighing us down so much? You know what? We'll just start selling things once we get to Leowin. We'll make our travel there. Open this door. Everything is repaired and re-equipped.
Hail, Commander.
And now, off to Leowin we go, making our midnight travel. Which hopefully this time, now it should be morning when we arrive, right? Looks like it'll only be a few more hours. 4:50 a.m. Indeed. We'll go find ourselves a bed to fall into. Take a little stroll over here. I can never remember where the... There it is. There's the Mages Guild. Or the Fighters Guild is right here. I didn't actually immediately take a look at it. I did look at your channel and see your subscriber count growing, but I didn't look at the, swap fell sands. Or, hold on.
Yes?
You posted another one recently, didn't you? God, I'll have to give it a look. Ooh! What a wonderful selection we have this time. Looky here. A +5 to speed, +4 to willpower, and +3 to endurance. Yeah, those are the best ones that we have for now. And our speed is almost at its maximum. So, we'll be skittering around very quickly as time goes on.
How are you today?
Onward we continue. And this time to the store so that we can at least lighten the load that we're carrying around. Really? There's another inn over here. Right next to the one close to the entrance. And, significantly better in its construction, I see. What are we carrying that's so heavy? Oh, it's all the Daedra hearts. That's definitely it. Why did that scroll up my chat? No. I need to see what people are saying. Here's the general store. I think we can afford to get rid of a lot of our scrolls that we have.
Gundala's guarantees everything almost free. At best goods and guarantees, retail service at warehouse prices.
Another example. Look at how tiny he is. Look at how small he is. Tiny little wood elf gremlin potato face
Your
boy.
quest for the Crusaders' relics was the equal of any of the old tales. Well met, Sir Knight. Can I interest
And this
you
Sir
in some
Knight
of
has
my
things to
wares?
sell you. Get rid of that.
Another.
Really?
Have a look
He
around.
takes me out
You
the
won't
menu.
find better price. What can I interest you
It looks
in?
like we just have to click every single
I let that
time.
you.
That is a very heavy workload, and I do recommend you
fine.
take care of yourself. Bear pelts? Really? I think we might have gotten that as a payment for something. Really? Why are we carrying 80... We were buying
Thank
from
you.
him. We're not supposed to be buying from him. We're supposed to be selling to him.
A
Redo.
pleasure to Can I interest you in some of my wares?
No way I'd be carrying around 8 bear pelts. Or
That-
10 of them.
That
Mercantile
drive
speed
up.
increased, just as I like to see.
you dri-
Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Wow, we still have so many of these. Every time you hear the phrase Daedra Heart, you run
You
back
got
to
a
a
great-
D&D campaign where you were a running gag about the heart of a dead god.
You've made a good bit of gold.
Welcome, Moon and Star. Come, Naravar, friend or traitor, come. But to this place, where destiny is made, why have you come unprepared? Did you bring the false copy of Sunder? Shame on you! Oh, dear me, but I am enjoying this. I love Dagother. Nice to see me again. Indeed, take care of yourself, Eric, because it is very intensive to be doing that many animations in that little time.
That's a
In
good,
that little amount of time.
an excellent bargain.
Thank you for stopping
A
by,
good
as
price
always.
for- That's a fair deal.
I think that gets rid of most of the weight that we're carrying around. Otherwise, we just have a few soul gems, mostly. Yeah. And then the rest, yeah, the rest is ingredients.
Take
So, let's fix that, shall we? Let's see, Fly Amanita and Karen Bullet should give us Restore Health. And now we want to combine it with Daedra Hearts. There, that really lightened the load. So we have a lot of Restore Health potion. Ah, but they're all 1 pound. No matter, I think we can make do. It's gonna still average their weight together. Let's see. Flax seeds. And what gives us... What's the lightest thing that gives us Restore Magicka? I think Water Hyacinth was the other one. .1. So I think that could work. Flax seeds actually have a weight of 0, So once you get to level 100 alchemy, you can actually make potions just out of them. That's it for our Restore Magicka effects. I wonder if there's a Fortify Strength we could use. That would be very useful to up our offensive damage. Or, with all this ectoplasm, I wonder if we could get some shock damage out there. No, that's a very rare effect. So no, not here. Scamp Skin. Reflect damage. Interesting. Wonder if there's any relatively useless ingredients that we could just get rid of a bunch of them. Viper's Bug Loss, I remember, is generally useless. And that looks like that's it for there.
Good day.
Yeah,
May I
it's
interest you in
definitely
some of
fun
my
playing a
fine
gremlin
wares?
character and stealing all the items that you can come across. But I think it's actually a very good mechanic, honestly. Specifically because it stops you from playing irresponsibly. I like
That's
making
a fair
decisions
deal.
in games, and so when a game forces a difficult decision on me, I think that's actually a good part of the game design. With me playing a lot of harder modded versions of games lately, I've taken a liking to the sort of preparation with so little that you can afford. It's why I've been playing so many roguelikes lately. I think it makes for a very interesting challenge trying to calculate and predict what you'll need and getting the right sets of equipment for the job. Why were we down in Leowin? I remember! One last little thing that I think we can do before the end of the stream here. We did have our conversation about lockpicks, and those of you who are familiar with Oblivion through and through might know exactly where this is going. I should have taken the east exit. We'll make our journey on foot. And by foot, I mean hoof. I do like Dark Souls' way of handling it, where you can take everything like a loot goblin, but your encumbrance is based off of what you're carrying on your actual person that you're using actively in combat. This is one other thing we need to fight. Since we have gotten to level 10, we now have unlocked the Will-O-Wisp enemy. Oh great, it's murdering my horse. I can't ride my horse while it's in combat. So these little glowy gremlins... Why are you fighting him? You were taking so much damage, you were about to die. Really, can I not pick that up? I forget what the button was to pick things up. Alright. You know what time it is. We have to pet the horse. And back to full health. So, the glow dust there is actually important for another quest that we have to do, which will be Azura's Shrine whenever we're back in the northern parts of the province. But here, we'll have to make a short trip up the river, and across because I'm an idiot and went to the western side, not the eastern side. Now that we're level 10, the next sequence of level scaling should take effect. So we'll see a few different enemies, stronger enemies, here and there. This also accounts for the Oblivion gates. We should see a lot more fire Atronachs, and soon we might even be running into Daedroths and Frost Atronachs. I can't remember what Frost Atronachs look like in this game. Wasn't Conjuration one of our main skills? Yeah, and we've barely used it. Seems I've gone so long without playing, I forgot how to play. Sorry, horse, but you're horrible at swimming, and I'm amazing. Look at this backstroke. Look at this backstroke. Oh, he do be crusading. Now a short trip eastward from here, and we should get to... Yeah, just continue due east. I think we have one last noble quest to embark, and then we shall disembark the stream. Oh great, who's... That is the sound of a mud crab. Oh, wrong button. Right button. I can't just jump and shuffle through there like an acrobat, which I'm used to in other games. Funny enough, you can actually get spells to fortify your jumping in this game. And while it's not nearly as much as in Morrowind, you can get yourself a nice little bit of extra movement. I think Nocturnal only accepts us talking to her while it's in the middle of the night, doesn't it? No.
Among the strangers, secrets in the dark. Nocturnal is here, but my eye is blind and drowned, stolen from its shrine and hid in dark waters. To steal from a god is most unwise. In Leowyn, two Argonians think themselves secret, but the eye has seen them. Find these thieves in the city that spans the waters. Learn where they hide my eye. Retrieve the eye of Nocturnal Mortal, and return it to me, and I shall look favorably upon you.
So, here is an introduction to Nocturnal, one of the... what is it? 16. I think it's 16 Daedric princes. Now, the Daedra are roughly analogous to demons or fae of a sort. More supernatural. Daedra specifically means not our ancestors. So, where the Aedra are supposed to be the gods that, you know, they're supposed to be like the gods that most people worship. The Daedra are the weird, chaotic gods in between.
Have mercy.
Not necessarily... Oh, wait. We're a crusader.
I'm only asking for enough to feed me kids. Thank you, kind sir.
And as a noble crusader should, we should always donate to any of the needy. So, the Daedra... Ah, right. I think we need to look around town. Maybe that beggar knows. Sniff some things out with his beggar nose.
I'm only...
He doesn't have a
What
topic.
can I do?
There we go.
Eye of Nocturnal. Doesn't sound familiar to me.
He can't point us in a direction. The Daedra are not necessarily evil, but they will sort of make Faustian bargains with a lot of people. Some of them will, some of them won't.
Yes. It's a pretty town, and everyone is really friendly, except maybe some Khajiit and Argonians who are upset about the Transnibbon. I think it's a shame how they took that land from elsewhere, and Argonians are afraid it could happen to them too. Bye.
There's some specific Argonians we need to talk to. I think that was the house we actually needed to... Wait, no. This one's open, so we might have a word in here.
I'm Bijin. I'm a hunter, and Weebamna's partner. I hope he didn't bother you about the rat thing. He's gone totally rat cuckoo, I'm afraid.
Know anything about this eye?
Why? Why would you ask? I've never heard of it. No idea what you're talking about. And Weebamna doesn't know either. He's seeing you.
Think about that one.
But what if the trolls eat it?
Shh, there's someone here. Wait until they leave.
Gotta eavesdrop without being detected, so if we just step outside and then step back in. As long as that eye remains...
Trolls don't
There we
find
go.
water. Trolls don't swim. The eye is perfectly safe in Tidewater Cave. So relax.
Obviously for Nocturnal, the patron Daedra of thieves, we should have to employ a little bit of stealth to get that bit of information. And for someone with an investment in sneak, I'm surprised how easy that was for us. Last time I played through this, I had a lot of trouble getting them to talk because they kept staring at me right inside of their house. That's not my horse. Look at how close those are together. Maybe we'll eventually plow through those a lot faster in the future. But as it is, they are a bit tedious. When we get to a higher level, they will definitely offer better rewards for us. We need as much water hyacinth and sacred lotus as we can get, as those are exceptional for alchemy, and I think they both have restore magicka. Which you know how important that is to us. Perhaps soon. 93% spell effectiveness. Nah. I think we might keep the Crusader's armor then. It probably would be better to roleplay as the proper medieval fantasy scientist and maybe just be a mage. But the armor helps. It helps a lot. Now a little lesson in Elder Scrolls lore. Trolls are weak to fire. And guess what we have on this little sword right here? Luckily, Tidewater Cave is in fact not very far from the city. And this is where we have to be. And to here, we... Oh, wolves! Why are wolves here? Oh, they sound so... pathetic in this game. I almost feel sorry for them. Light the place up a little bit. You know, next stream we should probably get some better spells from the Arcane University. Might be a better use of our time. Just to make you feel sorry for killing them. And I guess for some little level of realism. Although if I remember, they don't sound like that in Skyrim. I've been playing a lot of Skyrim lately, and I don't feel sorry about killing them there. Heck, I almost feel more sorry for the trolls. Wait a minute. How foolish I have been. Since we are wearing the Crusader set, we have Kennerith's Blessing, which means that creatures of the forest will not attack us. So, I was irresponsible. Turns out we actually don't have to treat them poorly at all. Instead, we can just pet the dog here. Sorry about your friend, Wolf. I will not make that same mistake twice. Noted, rats are in fact not creatures of the forest, apparently. And neither are slaughterfish. Ooh. Nice find. Both of those. How does that compare to our other one? You know what, I could use a little bit more fire shield. That will do. There's the dungeon loot chest. We're looking for a specific little gadget we'll find on the ground. Something glowing in sort of a red color, if I remember correctly. This is one of the most important quests to undertake for any character. And there it is. The Eye of Nocturnal. Simple enough quest to do. Go eavesdrop and then head into a cave. And I think our way out is just right here. Indeed. Ooh. Useful little mushrooms. Looks like it is coming up to another evening. So when we get back to Skingrad, things should be ready for us. You know what? We'll go ahead and just fast travel for this one. Don't really need to travel the same road twice, especially since we won't really have as many interesting encounters in Oblivion as we do in Skyrim.
My eye is returned, and I once again see into the darkness that is your world.
It is getting late, isn't it?
We mock the thieves, for bitter is their loss. You, mortal, may take this. It shall open the secrets of dark places for you.
And we have been awarded the skeleton key. Which, regarding our conversation from earlier, is an unbreakable lockpick. So, more analogous to an actual lockpick that you would have in real life. Now, what are we looking for? We were going to do... Right. We need to return to Skingrad's castle. Which is probably going to be deep in the AM when we return here, right? Court is not in session. Fine, we'll go take ourselves a little rest then. Because I'm far too invested in roleplaying, I refuse to just wait in one spot for 7 hours. This button I refuse to use most of the time. Unless it's for just a short bit. But this is a role-playing game. And what good is a role-playing game if you don't roleplay? Occupado. No bed over here, that's the basement. So up here we should have a spot. On second thought, maybe no. Wow, really? You're just, you're all gonna do this to me, huh? Scooch over. Now, back to business. Talk to Mr. Asymmetrical Eyeballs and see what he has to say to us.
Please, by all means. You there. I have an update for you. The Count has agreed to see you, but not here. He wishes to meet you south of the cursed mine outside of town, after 2 a.m. It would be wise of you to be on time. Follow the road west out of Skingrad, through the high pasture. The mine entrance is north of the road. The Count will meet you just outside it.
That seems easy enough. After all, what could go wrong? My face has been awfully low for the latter half of the stream. I'll just update with update a lot of the settings. This is essentially the maiden voyage of Xander 2.0. To the west, you say, right?
Hail!
You know what, I did just say otherwise, but just to hurry things along. It has been a 3-hour stream. So let's just get ourselves a little bit of a wait here. 10:28, and we are looking for 2 a.m., which will be 16 hours. So 15 should do us just fine for the moment. Oh, Count Hasseldor. Oh, hello, friends, and completely innocuous, innocent, and generally not necromancer-related black robes.
Well, well. You're early, mage. I'm afraid I misled you. The Count won't be arriving. In fact, he doesn't even know you're here. We're not about to let the Guild interfere with our plans, for the Count or otherwise. So, you'll have to die. Don't worry. We'll put your body to good use, I assure you.
We'll just see about that. So, you remember how ugly he is, right? That's obviously the face of a villain.
You impossible fool. What possessed you to think I would suggest a meeting here, of all places? At least your gullibility served some useful purpose. I knew about Mercator, but not his friends. Now none of them are a threat any longer.
Meet Count Janus Hasseldor, one of my favorites. You might notice something about his eyes.
Do you not recognize a necromancer when you see one? I suspected Mercator was involved in their cult, but was unwilling to move against him without knowing the identities of his allies. Count Janus Hasseldor at your service.
Janus, not
A thank you
Janus.
might be in order at this point. Despite what your council may think, I've not thrown in with the necromancers and would never do so. You may pass along that message. Is that so? Perhaps your council has not been entirely honest with you. Do you really believe they sent you here for a book? No, they sent you here to spy on me. They've heard the same rumors I have about the Necromancer's cult. Tell your council that the next time they want something from me, they come themselves. They don't send someone under false pretenses. Yes, I see that now. I regret that Traven has involved you in this way. At least you've survived. For now. Perhaps in the future you can be trusted enough to deal with more serious matters. Now our business here is concluded. I suggest you return to your council.
And who are you? Oh, the shepherd helped us. He helped punch down the mages. Thank you, Jonas. No nonsense, and I like that about him. But that does leave us with a roughly 3-hour stream. And accordingly, I think I'll slip myself back over here real quick and get ourselves some rest. After all, I need to make preparations for the ever so important programming stream coming up sometime this Saturday. Let's get a little chat back over here, shall we? Thank you. And I should do a little bit of nudging myself. So, thank you all for your attendance on this wonderful Monday. I hope you've had a wonderful Valentine's Day. I've had, well, quite a few updates to the channel lately, with me getting a 2.0 model, and as you saw on Friday, the reveal of our new palette for Guilty Gear Strive. Tomorrow will be Dead Cells, and then I will be taking a rest day on Wednesday, as Thursday is going to be a very, very big day, featuring King of Fighters 15 on release. And then Friday, either Guilty Gear or more King of Fighters. I know I said Guilty Gear is guaranteed, but I might do a bit of both. Maybe a big stream, doing both of them. In the bit of the interim time, I will be trying to prepare this stuff for our lesson, where we'll be going along a lot of the basic stuffs involving programming. In Game Maker Studio 2, I will give you all a proper introduction into variables and collisions. We'll probably be working on a simple platformer with simple graphics. I'm a programmer, not an artist. Well, I look forward to it, and all the stuff that we'll have, which will be endearing along the way. Allergies are killing me right now. So, I will rest, and thank you all for your attendance. Class is dismissed. It does look much nicer in 60 FPS. If my computer can handle it, I think I'll do it a lot more. Barely dropped any frames, too. Good night, Error, Blake, Taco, ETG, Beef Bowl. That's a bot. Broham, Kayla, Ajoy, Harus. Good night to you as well. Thank you for your attendance. Bruno, James, Decursion. I said ADG, right? Azteca, thank you for the little stop by. Z as well. I think I said Blake. Thank you, Blake. Eugenio Vasquez. That's as far back as my history can go, so that's all I see on my end. Thank you all, and good night, good morning, good afternoon to you all.